Hi everyone, it is Melissa from Stitch or Mel here on YouTube and Instagram. Just wanted to try and keep my life semi-normal during all this craziness. So even though part of me did not want to record a FlossTube at all, another part of me is like, you really need to try and keep some sense of normalcy in your life right now. I know a lot of you know I battle anxiety issues, and so having this kind of disruption to my routine is a little difficult, but I'm trying to make the best of it and control the things I can and try and do my best to get through the things I can't. So, and that being all said, I'm going to actually change up the routine of this video today. I have a lot of haul. So I have decided I'm not going to share my whips in this video. I'm going to save those and do those next week. And today is just going to be, I've got a couple of finishes to share and the rest of it is going to be haul. And I'm sure many of you are thinking right now, but Melissa, aren't you supposed to be on a Stitch from Stash right now? Yes, I am. And I'm failing miserably. There were just so many beautiful things at market, and I am trying to build up my fabric stash again. So I've been buying a lot of fabrics from Brandy at BeStitchMe. And so, yeah, it is what it is. I saw someone sum it up really nicely. I saw it on Instagram, I believe. Someone had shared it. And they said, I would rather fail at Stitch from Stash than have my needlework shops closed during the quarantine. And I can kind of get on board with that. And I have certainly done my fair share to help a couple of stores. And admittedly, my purchases were made right before the quarantine started because a lot of this is from market. But those sales are going to help them through this because they got that money right at the start, right before all this went down. So it will help them for their expenditures this month. So if you have things you've been kind of thinking about buying, and I know it's a fine balance of, yeah, but I don't know what's going to happen with my monetary situation. I don't know if I'm going to continue to get paid or not. I get it. I am fortunate enough, I work for a company that has assured us that even if we go in complete shutdown, they have an emergency fund that will be able to pay us for a few months at least. So I'm in a position where my finances are not being compromised right now. So if you, like me, are in that position and can afford to do so, please help your local needle stores right now or your favorite online shops if you don't have a local shop. A complete shutdown like this could be devastating to our little niche industry. So, if you can, do. And for those of you who are on Stitch from Stash, you're like, I hope I'm on Stitch from Stash. Think about it. Do you want your favorite shops to close? I know I don't. So I am far less worried about my Stitch from Stash right now. It is what it is. So let's get into some stitching stuff. Like I mentioned, I have two finishes. This is the first one. This is a freebie from the Little Stitcher, Laura in Italy. And I finished this before the quarantine craziness happened. I finished this on Leap Day, I think, February 29th. And it's an homage, of course, to The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's Red Shoes. And I stitched this on Toast 22 count Aida from Brandy at BeStitchMe. And I used mostly the called for fibers. The only thing I did change was the red that was used. The red she had called for was looking a lot more brown on my fabric choice. So I switched it to a little bit brighter red. But yeah. And I stitched this up in one evening. So it's a very quick stitch. The next one I finished is Spring Hare Etching from Cecilia Turner of Heart and Hand. This design appears in the new spring issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. I did not have the called for overdyed cottons that she used, So I substituted and used some Belle Soie silks that I had in my stash. So the bunny is stitched in Mud Pie, and the flowers are stitched in Fresh Raspberries. And there are similar tones to what, I mean, she used a brown and a pink. I think she used Tennessee Red Clay, and I can't remember what brown she used. Like Sticks and Twigs or something like that. Do I have the chart in here? Let's see. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, Sticks and Twigs and Tennessee Red Clay. And she did give a DMC conversion, but I figured, you know, I've not been using my silks. Let me use those. So I really like how it turned out. So I'm going to try and finish this, FFO this into a little pillow to put in my basket on my coffee table. So those are my two finishes. The rest of this video, oh, look at me touching my face. The rest of this video is going to be haul. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Okay, first thing I'm going to share are the fabrics. The first two I'm going to share are a couple that I got from, well, they're all from Brandy, but there were a couple that I got and they didn't have names on them. And so I asked her, since I knew I was going to share these in my video, I asked her if they had names. And she said, well, no, those actually don't. Why don't you come up with a name and I'll use it? And I was like, okay. So the first one is now called Sugar Plum. That's the name I came up with for this one, because this reminds me definitely of frosted sugar plums. Her fabric smells so good. And that is a piece of 17 by 17 inch Jobelin 32 count. Again, this one is now called Sugar Plum. The next one is also a purple. This is a fat quarter of 32 count Lugana. And I named this one Iris. And so here is Iris. So pretty. It's getting caught on the brim of my hat. And I will tell you, because I had canceled my hair appointment right before the official quarantine came down, because I have I'm immunocompromised due to a couple of autoimmune disorders. So I had canceled it thinking, oh, well, I'll stay home for the 14 days. And then, look at me touching my face again. My nose is itching though. But anyway, I figured, at that point I was like, well, this might last 2 or 3 weeks and then I can get in for another appointment. It'll be fine. Well, of course, now we're on shelter in place, stay at home, whatever you want to call it here in California. And so salons are definitely impacted. So until we ride through this thing and I'm able to get back to the salon, you are probably going to see me wearing a hat in every video. Just putting it out there. And you're not going to see any makeup, because if I'm not going out, I am not putting on makeup. Sorry. Love you, but if I don't have to put on makeup, I'm not. Anyway, so I did want to show a comparison between these two so you could see the difference in the purples. And of course, these are different fabrications, so that's going to make a little bit difference too. But you can see the Iris is definitely, it's not showing up that great on camera, but it is definitely a bit darker than the Sugar Plum. And it has more modeling, but that could be the fabrication more than anything. So the next one I'm going to share is another one I actually named for Brandy, but on this one, she didn't just say, hey, come up with a name for me. This was actually a contest she ran in her Facebook group, and everyone put in what they thought this fabric should be called, and I ended up winning. And this is Brandy's new Vanilla Latte. And so she sent me this piece of 16 count Aida of Vanilla Latte as a prize for winning her naming contest. And then she also sent me this cute little Lizzie Kate St. Patrick's Day Flip It to stitch on it if I want. But I may save this for something else. I mean, you know me, I love prim and sampler stitching, so I may save this for maybe a small sampler or something like that. It's just so gorgeous. I am definitely going to buy some yardage of this color because it's just stunning. And I like that it's not super dark. And unless you're stitching, you know, maybe something with a lot of white on it, you don't need it to be super dark. You just, you know, want it to be kind of prim looking, and this is. So I'm excited for that one. Now, of course, because of my love of prim and samplers, I did stock up on a bunch of neutrals since I'm trying to grow my fabric stash again. This is Gold Rush. And this is a 32 count Jobelan. Really pretty. I liked this one so much I bought 2 pieces of it. So yeah. And these are 17 by 17, which means you can fit a very generous size design on it. I mean, that's going to allow you to have something up to 11 inches square with a 3-inch margin, or up to 13 inches square if you only use a 2-inch margin. I know a lot of people just use 2 inches. I generally use 3, unless it's something like an ornament or something like that, but yeah. So that is Gold Rush. Let me fold that back up real quick. Next up is one of my favorite colors of Brandy's. This is Toast. And this is a 22 count Aida. Love that. I'll turn it sideways so you can get a bigger view. Really, really pretty. And of course, because this is on Aida, it takes the dye much differently than, say, a linen would. So with a linen, you're going to have a lot heavier modeling than you have on this. I personally am not a huge fan of the super heavy modeling, but I do like this really soft, subtle modeling. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to go with the Aida on this. And I really, like I mentioned in a previous one, I've really fallen in love with stitching on 22 count Aida again. I haven't done it in years, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And here's another piece of 22 count Aida. And this is another neutral. This is her beachfront color. So it's more golden, where Toast is more brown on the highlights on the modeling. So this is beachfront. And this, even though it says 18 by 21, and I know most people think of fat quarters as 18 by 27, but on Aida, this would be a fat quarter, because Aidas, I believe, are like 42, 44 inches, something like that in width, whereas most of your linens and even weaves are 54 inches or 56 inches, something like that. So, or 52. So yeah, that is beachfront. Okay, so that takes care of most of the brownie neutrals, or tannish neutrals. The next one I have is Outback Jack. This is another 22 count Aida. And this is a very beautiful, it's hard to describe the color. It's definitely got grays in it, but it has a very super subtle kind of purpley undertone. And maybe like some green undertones. It's so hard to describe. It is absolutely gorgeous though. Love that. So that is Outback Jack. Next up is a piece of 18 count Aida, and this is an opalescent, and this is her new Gaia color, which I believe Gaia is the goddess of spring. So this is very appropriately, and I think someone in the group came up with the name for this one too. I think this was another name, the fabric type piece. But yeah, that's definitely like a soft spring sky with little hints of pinks and purples. But since it's an Aida, again, it's very subtle. If you got a even weave or linen, you're going to have a lot more variation in the color. But I love that. That's gorgeous. Nicely done, Brandy. Next up is a piece of 32 count Jobelan in sea glass, which is just a gorgeous sea glass green. This is beautiful. I have no idea what I'm going to stitch on it yet, but it was so pretty I had to get it. It matches my shirt. And you can't see it, but it matches my phone too, because I have the aqua colored iPhone 11. So I am all about the matching today. And it's so funny because I'm a little discombobulated in one sense while I'm recording this video, because my desk here is in my craft room that I normally record at has been completely made over into a home office. So I've got my 27-inch iMac sitting right here, which is normally not there. So space that I normally have for stacking things is completely gone. So it's just weird. Yeah. Next up, we have another 22 count piece of Aida, and this is gray. And that's exactly what it is. It's just a nice, softly modeled gray. I love this. It reminds me a lot of the vintage Stormy Night printed fabric, stamped fabric, whatever it is, that Zweigart makes, which has become next to impossible to get on 1-2-3 Stitch these days. I'm not saying that I'm the one who caused a run on it, but I stitched on it all the time, never had any problem, getting it. And then once I started sharing about it on my FlossTube channel, once I started it, I can't ever seem to find it. It's completely sold out all the time. So, yeah. So, maybe I should have been careful. And in fact, I've kind of thought about that even with Brandy's Fabrics, because at the time I joined her group, there were only a couple of 100 of us in there, and now it's over 400 or 500 people. So it's getting harder to get in and get fabrics because there's so many more people in the group now. So part of me sometimes thinks I shouldn't be sharing all these wonderful things because now it's getting hard for me to find them. But I'm not that way. I'm still going to share, so don't worry. Next up, we have a 32 count Jobelan, also in gray. So this will show you the difference in gray on Jobelan. Oh, this is an interesting piece. It says it's 18 by 25, but this is clearly more than 18 by 25. Yeah. I think you mismeasured this one, Brandy. Not that I'm going to complain, but here, let's see. I'll double it up so I can hold it up in the picture a little better. But yeah, that is gray. So let's see. I've got a measuring mat here on my desk. So let's see. So that is 22. Yeah, it's 18 by 34. But yeah, that's beautiful. There we go. So that was the last of the fabrics. So we'll move those out of the way. Now I have some non-market haul, and then we'll close things up with market. I bought some PDFs from various online shops, so I'm going to show those first. The first one I got from Willow Hill Samplings. If you're not familiar with them, they have really, really beautiful stuff. The designer is Kimberly Mueller, and I think James. And if you're a member of the Prim Stitcher Society on Facebook, James is the one who always posts their stuff mostly in the group. But this is the Busy Bee Sampler. As I've mentioned before, the name Melissa is derived from the Greek word for bee. So I kind of love all things bees. So yeah, that's the Busy Bee Sampler. And in fact, I've kind of loved it. If you're on Instagram, oh, touching my face. There's the whole hashtag Be Well and Stitch right now, which is a project movement, whatever you want to call it, that Cecilia Turner from Heart and Hand and Sue Hillis from Sue Hillis Designs kind of brainchilded. They're kind of the brains behind the movement. And they kind of have coupled with Barbara at Keepsakes to have her host the files on her Facebook page. And so what it is they reached out to many designers and asked them if they could create a quick little freebie chart to offer so that stitchers have little things they can work on, you know, smalls during this whole quarantine period. And I don't know how many there are, but there's at least a couple of dozen available already. And they did say that they were kind of staggering the releases on them. So I don't know how many we're going to end up with, but there's definitely a good number out there. And then even some designers who may not have been asked to be part of the official Be Well and Stitch group have started putting out designs as well, free designs. And I don't know if she was included in the Be Well and Stitch or not. She didn't include the hashtag in her post. But Shannon Christine this morning released an adorable freebie called Easter Delivery that has the Easter Bunny driving a really cute little old antique vintage purple truck with, it looks like maybe carrots in the back of it in all different colors. It's really, really cute. So you can find it on Shannon's Instagram, or if you're a member of the Shannon Christine Designs Facebook group, she's got it posted in there as well. The next one, as soon as I saw this get released, I immediately went to the website and bought it. This is a reproduction sampler that Modern Folk Embroidery has put out. It's Mary Weareat, I guess, 1783. How gorgeous is that? If you like reproduction samplers, this one's really pretty. Love it. And he did offer, because on the original, this is all done over one, and he did, in the chart, he does offer an alternate verse of a similar vein. It's not the exact same verse, but it's something that kind of has the same meaning to it, that is an over two version, so you don't have to do the over one. And this is all done over one down here too. I don't know if he recharted that or not, I don't remember, but I'm planning to stitch it using the over one. That's my plan, at least. When the time comes to have to stitch it, we'll see if that works, because I'm probably going to stitch this on 36 count, maybe 40 count. I've never done over one on 40 count, so we'll see. And now in a completely different style, this is an adorable little Christmas chart I picked up from Faye Walsh of Little Dove Designs. This is called Home for Christmas. I love that little band sampler look for it. So that's super cute. And I also got, while I was on her Etsy shop, Little Dove's Year, which is 12, seasonal designs, monthly series. But rather than stitching it all as one like she has here, I'm going to stitch them as individuals. So I can make them into little pillows, or maybe a little flat piece that I can swap out using a magnet type system like Priscilla and Chelsea use. So that is Little Dove's Year from Little Dove Designs, which is Faye Walsh. If you get any of the UK magazines, you're probably familiar with Faye. She designs a lot for those magazines. And speaking of Priscilla and Chelsea, as you know, I had previously bought the Hello Spring piece, so they've released two more. They now have Crunch, so I picked that up. And they also have Peep, so I picked that one up as well. And they have subsequently released a new one called Penelope and Peep, which is an adorable rabbit, Penelope, holding the little Peep cup. It's really cute. So that takes care of the PDF charts. I'm running out of places to put things. The next one I'm going to share, I completely blame this on Jan Higgs. Hi, Jan. She started stitching this and has finished it, and I needed it, and so I went out on eBay and I found it. This is the Dorothy Allen sampler. Let's pull it out of the plastic. I was hoping I could avoid pulling all of these out of the plastic, but I'm not sure I can. Okay, this is the Dorothy Allen sampler. She was a cousin to Ethan Allen, one of the founding fathers. Let's see. She was first cousin of Revolutionary War hero Ethan Allen, who led Vermont's legendary Green Mountain Boys in the capture of Fort Ticonderoga from the British in 1775. Oops, I've got stuff falling out. And this is part of the Museum Historic Samplers collection. And I thought it told on here somewhere what museum put this out. The Bennington Museum in Bennington, Vermont. Yeah. And it includes the fabric and the silks in the kit. And there's a letter included with the chart from the curator at the museum, or the director rather. And she mentions that they chose linen and silks as closely as they could to replicate the original. So, yeah. So I am definitely looking forward to starting this one at some point. Now, I will say, originally the kit had a needle in it. And as you can see, the needle left a little rust mark on the linen. So I'm going to have to try and see if I can get that out. So if anyone has any good recommendations for how to get rust off of linen, please leave me a comment and let me know so that I can try and take care of that. But I was surprised. I got this on eBay. I think the starting price for it was $10, and I got it for $15 by the time the bidding was done, which I thought was really good. I mean, seems very reasonable to me for chart linen. This is I believe an R&R linen and silks. $15? Can't beat that, right? Okay, so the next one, I'm going to call this the blame section of my video, because the next one I am completely blaming on Shiloh. Hi, Shiloh. She is XStitch MD on Instagram. Couldn't think of Instagram. That might be her channel name here on FlossTube. I think it might. But this is basically a red letter sampler from Reflet de Soie. It originally appeared in the now defunct Gift of Stitching magazine, which I was kind of kicking myself because at one point I had all of those magazines. It was a digital magazine and I had all of them. And at some point along the line in a hard drive crash or something, I can't find them anymore. I don't know what has become of those digital files. So, but fortunately, Reflet de Soie does have this on their website. So I was able to order it. How beautiful is that sampler? Oh, stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to actually do it as a red letter sampler or if I might do it as like a dark cornflower blue, because those are really, really pretty too. I've got another sampler, a freebie actually from Ellen Marstro that I'm thinking about doing as well. So I'm definitely going to do one in red and one in cornflower blue. The Ellen Marstro one is called Rose Sampler, I think. It was a freebie she had 10 or 12 years ago that is still on her website. So, yeah. But yeah, that one is a directly purchased because of seeing Shiloh's. Okay, I think that is the last of the blame purchases, at least for a non-market haul. Next up, this was one I got from, there I am touching my face again. Ugh, it's so hard not to. This one I got from Brandy at BeStitchMe. She had a bunch of charts that she had bought, you know, for giveaways and package includes and things like that. And it was just getting kind of out of hand, so she decided to have a bit of a de-stash sale. And I love praiseworthy stitches and I love Quakers, so this was a no-brainer to pick this one up. She was offering them, I think, 10 or 15% off, something like that. So this is Simple Gifts Peace. I definitely want to, now on my wish list, I have Simple Gifts Halloween and Simple Gifts Christmas because they're super cute. Like, I need another Halloween Quaker, like I need a hole in my head. I've got 3 or 4 of them already, but they're just so pretty. But yeah, so that's that one. speaking of Halloween Quakers, this I actually won in one of her giveaways from BeStitchMe. There's too much glare on that one. It's got to come out. It's so amazing how the different plastics glare. So yeah, this is Halloween Quaker from Lila's Studio. As you may remember, I have Holiday Quaker. And I did start that this month for Stitch Madness. So next week when I show my whips, you'll be seeing that one. So yeah, so that, how cool is that? I love these little houses down here at the bottom. And look at those striped socks. So cute. So that is Halloween Quaker. The next one up is, oh, hang on, I'll put that in the plastic later. The next one I'm going to share, this is a shop exclusive to Tomorrow's Heirlooms in Glen Ellen, Illinois, which is outside of Chicago. And this is a design from Nan Lewis at Threadwork Primitives. And this is called the Friendship Sampler. How gorgeous is that? But the only place you can get this is at Tomorrow's Heirlooms. And if you go to their website, it's tomheir.com, I believe, Tom Air. But you can just Google Tomorrow's Heirlooms cross stitch shop and it'll come right up. And then once you get on their site, you can just, use their search for Friendship Sampler. And they offer several options. You can get just the chart, you can get the kit, you can get the kit in a variety of fabrications. So yeah. And I didn't think this one was horrible either. I got the 36 count linen option. And this is, hang on, let me see. I know it's a picture of this plus. Let me see what fabric it is. Oaken. I couldn't remember. I was thinking Wren, but it's like, no, this is too dark to be Wren. So this is the fabric. This is 36 count Oaken from Picture This Plus. Beautiful. That's about as heavy a modeling as I really like. And that's pretty modeled for me. And then I'm not as good at this as Nicole is from Nicole's Needlework. She is the queen of splaying out her fibers on her fabric, but we're going to give it a go and try. So these are the fibers. Aren't those gorgeous? Ugh, so pretty. And so yeah, I'll cover my face so you can see all at once. Isn't that going to be gorgeous? It has taken everything in me not to start this before I showed this in my video, because it has been burning a hole on in my stitchy finger or something. People used to say, old folks used to say, you've got money burning a hole in your pocket. That's the way I have been with this sampler. I have wanted to start it so badly. So I'm excited that now that I have shown this, I can stitch it. At least start it. Yeah, March Stitch Madness has been kind of crazy for me because I've been trying for the last couple of years to keep my whips under 20. I'm closing in on 40 right now because I haven't started something every single day, but I have started at least 15 or 16 new projects so far this month, which is crazy. Okay, so that takes care of all the non-market haul. Now we're going to go to market haul, and I've got a lot. Okay, so the first thing, and I only ordered from 2 shops this year. I always order from Dreama at Needlecraft Corner. I don't really have a good local needlework store anymore that carries cross stitch. The local needle store closest to me carries mostly needlepoint. So, and it's even in their names, Needlepoint's Limited. So they're definitely a needlepoint store. And she used to carry a lot more cross stitch, but I think she's had to downsize, her space. And so I think she rightfully focused on things that are bigger money makers for her. And that's the needlepoint, because that's kind of the market she specializes to. And But for those of us who are cross stitchers who live in this area, it, has left kind of a hole for us. So I kind of consider Needlecraft Corner in Baltimore, Maryland, my local needlework store, even though it's on the opposite side of the country from me. But I've been shopping with Dreama for over 15 years, and she has amazing service. I love the bundles she puts together. I know I've said all this before, but I thought it would be worth saying again. So anyway, every year I do a market order from her. Then I'll also put in a smaller order from some of my favorite online stores. So like last year I ordered from Julie Gulf Coast Stitches. This year I ordered from Abby Top Knot. So I like to kind of spread the love with my online stores. So, but anyway, so the first stuff I'm going to show you, this is all the stuff I got from Dreama. So the first one, I had to have this. Come on. Strutting Tom from Stephanie Webb at Lindy Stitches. And it is the full kit. I think that's the only way this one may have come. Although I did notice 123 Stitch seems to have just the chart. But I got the full kit that has the beautiful pins and everything. These are from Lady Dot Creates, Lois. Sending you lots of good thoughts, Lois. I know this is probably a really crazy time for you, having just come off chemo and now this whole virus quarantine thing. So just wanted you to know that you are in my thoughts. I don't know if you remember, but I had the pleasure of meeting you several years ago. I attended one of your retreats. I don't even know if you're watching this, but I'm going to say this anyway. I attended one of your retreats when you had Jackie Duplessis, and it was her chocolate retreat. And I came up from Southern California to attend that up in Modesto. So anyway, all that to say, I'm thinking about you, and I hope you're doing well. Stay safe, stay healthy. So, okay, so that is Lindy Stitches. The next one, the gorgeous, Token of Love from Brenda Gervais at With Thy Needle. Love that. And I bought this as one of the bundles from Dreama. So it has the called for 28 count mushroom, Lugana, and all the called for fibers. Absolutely gorgeous. I did note in the chart that Brenda recommends doing a coffee dye on this to kind of darken and model it up a little bit. So I'm going to give that a try. We'll see. I've never done it. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah. Next up is from Liz Matthews. This is Bower Birds. I love that. Gorgeous. And again, I bought the full kit for this. So this is the called for Dove Linen from Weeks Dye Works and the called for DMC. For some reason I had in my head this was stitched with NPI, but it flat out said in the chart that it was stitched with 2 skeins of this DMC. And I had just told, Dreama to just kit it, with whatever it was called for. So love that. And so as you can see here, Liz has Dreama, the chart itself is priced at $12. And then what she does up here at the top is, so this is the retail value of this package, was $33, whatever. But since I bought the package, I got a little bit of a discount. So it was $29 for everything, which I think that seems very reasonable for, a nice big piece of Weeks Dye Works linen, the chart, and the fiber. So yeah. Next up, yes, I had to have this Little House Needleworks Kringle. How cute is that? Or Kringles, plural. I am planning to do a 2-story version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch this section, and then I'm going to stitch my 3 favorite little vignettes from this part right here, and then just lower the roof down to make it a little bit smaller so it won't take quite so long to stitch. Yeah, I really like that. I think I'm going to use the 3 sections with trees. So this one has a tree. No, I'm sorry. This one with the gifts, the clock in the center, and then the train set probably up here. I think those are the 3 I'm going to use. We'll see. And I may change my mind and end up doing it all. We'll see. But yeah, so this is fully kitted as well. I've got the gray fabric it calls for. Let's see, what is this gray fabric? Parisian gray from Access Commodities. And I was like, I've had some Access Commodities fabric in the past that was super stiff and rigid and just not pleasant to work for. Or work with, not work for, work with. This is actually pretty nice. I was pleasantly surprised. I was figuring I was going to change this out, but I'm not. I'm going to use this fabric. Yeah, I like that. And then it's got the thread pack with all of the classic Colorworks threads in it. I think there's like 20 skeins in here or something. And then the only other thing it calls for that I don't have yet is, it's an Avera Soie. I'm looking to see where it's listed on here. It's an Avera Soie Gold. I do remember that. But Dreama did not have it in stock. She contacted her Avera Soie rep, and they've got some coming, so it will be in, she'll have it mid-April, and she'll send that out to me then. I've already paid for it in the bundle price. So yeah, so this one, again, you can see it was, if you paid retail for everything separately, it would be $99. And since I got the bundle, it's $84. So, which actually isn't bad considering it's all specialty fibers. And that's a big piece of linen. I mean, that's a fat quarter of linen because this is a huge piece. So given the size of this piece, $84 seems pretty reasonable. Okay, next up, we have what was probably this was definitely the first piece I pre-ordered once I started seeing sneak peeks. This is the Well-Rounded series from Kathy at Hands On Design. These are 3 graduated pieces representing each season. Love that. And again, I bought the full kit. And on this one here, I've been showing the prices. So this would have been $114 regularly. I paid $99, but then I paid an extra $16 to get all the trims from Lois at Lady Dot. So we'll open this up. So this is the fabric bundle. There's 4 different pieces of linen here. I believe these are all, yeah, these are all from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. You're getting Spanish Moss, Vanilla Latte, Valerian Steel, and Chocolate Milk. So I'm guessing this is Chocolate Milk, this is Valerian Steel, this is Vanilla Latte, and that is Spanish Moss. Yeah, really, really pretty. Now, I will say these did not come serged. I pulled these out yesterday and serged all my fabrics. So those would be done. And it's like one really long strip. And so you'll stitch all of them on the one long strip for each season. And then it also, the bundle includes the finishing kits, 4. So you'll have one for each season, which has the 6 laser cut discs to make all 3 of the pinwheels for each season in each size. And then again, as I mentioned, all the trims. These are Wishes Bouquet Filled Blooms from Lady Dot Creates. What size of trim? This is 1/4 inch twill tape, and you're getting 2 yards of each color. And again, those are Wishes Bouquet Fields and Blooms. And unlike a lot of series, this is true for both the Little House piece and Kathy's piece. Everything is here. It's not something that's going to be on auto ship where you're going to get one every, few weeks or whatever. Everything is in here. All of these are in this chart. So you have everything ready to go. Let's see if I can get that back down in there and get this closed. I don't want any of that stuff dropping out. Okay, next up, there were 3 new Classic Colorworks colors released at market. The first is Mariner's Compass. The next is Lighthouse, which as you can see is definitely lighter than Mariner's Compass. This is more of a tan, and this is more of like, almost like a shaker white. And then Chesapeake Bay, which is a grayish blue. And if you bought all three of the new new Classic Colorworks, you got a free chart from Little House Needleworks called Sampler Heart, which is really cute. So I got that. Next, I bought a chart, the chart only for this. I did not kit it. This is AH to EE from Kathy Barrick. This is a reproduction sampler. Super, super pretty. I opted not to get this. This one, what does it call for? It calls for MPI 646, very dark shutter green. But it does list a DMC 934. Which, I don't know if I'll use that or if I'm just going to maybe use a black. I don't know. Time will tell. But I wanted to see what the call for fabric is on this. Legacy linen from Picture This Plus. Yeah. Which, I don't have any Legacy, but I do have Heartland. I've got a yard of that, so I may stitch it on Heartland. Yeah. It says she found the sampler at an antique market in Pennsylvania during the summer of 2019. The antique dealer from whom I purchased this treasure said the sampler came from England. The antique sampler was stitched all in one color, a deep, dark shutter green. Our reproduction is stitched on 36 count Legacy linen from Picture This Plus using 2 strands of silk over 2 threads of linen. Cross stitch is used throughout. And then she had it framed at a local store. A local craft store, it says. So yeah, really, really pretty. So I'll see how the DMC color, that's DMC 934, I'll see how that looks on the Heartland, but I may end up just using a different color. But I figure, it's a monochromatic Quaker sampler. I didn't feel like, I felt like with all the stash I have, this was something I could stitch out of my stash. Or kit out of my stash, I should say. Okay, next up is another Lindy Stitches. This is Mary Needleworker. And what sold me on this one? Where is it? Oh, wrong side. That frog. Oh my God, how cute is that frog? I want to do a pin keep with that frog. Yeah. Or a scissor fob, maybe. Something like that. So cute. But I loved, all the, tools of our trade on there. And those boots are life. Oh my gosh, I love the boots. Oh, and look at the little snail. How cute is he? And the little toadstools. So cute. But again, I don't know when I'm going to stitch this, so I didn't kit it up from Dreama. It calls for 32 count Picture This Plus linen in Bramble for the day colorway or Echo for the night colorway, which here is what the night colorway looks like. It's on dark fabric, and the dress is a different color, of course. So everything's been altered, to work on the dark fabric. It is kitted, or it calls for, it looks like all weeks dye works. Oh, but she also lists all the DMCs as well. So you've got DMC or weeks dye works that you can use with it. And 2 strands over 2 threads on 32 count linen, which makes sense. And there are some optional satin stitches. It says that stitches used are full cross stitch, back stitch, 1 French knot, and some optional satin stitches. Oh, it looks like the satin stitches are done here on the spools. But you could, I'm sure she's got those charted to stitch if you wanted to not have to do the satin stitches. I kind of feel like the satin stitches, you kind of need to do that for the spools, but that's just my opinion. Okay, then the last thing I got from Dreama is Sue Hillis's new Finishing Made Easy book. She also had a Easels Made Easy book, but I don't do a lot of easels. I'm more likely to do ornaments and flats and things like that. So I picked this one up. I believe it was $20 if memory serves. And I mean, I'll just, whoop, very good detailed pictures, you know, showing how to lace stuff. She has, we'll see what all's in here. She gives you all the basic supplies and everything you're going to need, how to get organized, how to select your finishing accoutrement. Then she tells you how to finish a dome-shaped ornament, a rectangle, how to lace, how to finish a round, how to apply trims, a bias finish. There's actually even a little chart in here. Let's see, I think I can show this if I'm careful. I'll bring it up very slowly. So yeah, here's the little chart you get. Really cute. And it's all charted. It's charted for either Sullivan's or DMC. And then how to apply twisted cord. Oh, I left out. Oh, there's another one in here. Let's see if I can do this one. I don't know. Yeah, as long as I do it this way, you can see the key. So, yeah, that's the other one. And then she tells you how to make cord and then how to apply the cord. So, yeah, lots of, and it says all the basics, and that's exactly what it is. I haven't done any finishing myself other than that one little ornament piece I did for Fall Fling last year. I haven't done any finishing in over a decade. So, I thought I would get this so I can try my hand at doing some finishing. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's everything I got from Dreamo. So now I will share the things I got from Abby. Hi, Abby. Hi, Jam. This was a must-have for me as soon as I saw it. This is from Becky Noland of Lucy Beam. I will cut you, snip, 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 snip. How funny is this? And so I showed this to my best friend. Hi, Tracy. She's Tracy Stitches here on FlossTube or at Wow Princess on Instagram. And as soon as I showed her this, she was like, oh my gosh, I need one that says, I will punch you in the throat. And so in the Prim Stitcher Society, I said to Becky, hey, Becky, my best friend said she needs one of these that says, I will punch you in the throat. And Becky said, I am totally going to chart that. So I really hope she does, and that we will get one that says, I will punch you in the throat. So yeah, love that. And then Abby Bella Stitch recommended another one too. Had something to do with chairs, but I can't remember now what it said. Abby, if you watch this, leave in the comment what your suggestion for a chart was, because it was hilarious too. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. I remember Tracy's I will punch you in the throat because she says it all the time. Okay, next one. This is a design. This is the first chart I've ever had by this designer, so I'm kind of excited. I love this chart. This is Love Always from Annie B's Folk Art. It is stitched on 32 count flax, 1 strand over 2. Oh wow, 1 strand on 32 count. That's going to be very prim looking. Using Weeks Dye Works and Classic Color Works. So there's 4 Classic Color Works and 2 Weeks. So your Classic Color Works are Clay Pot, Cocoa Bean, Cobbled Peach, and Cherry Cobbler. And your Weeks are Oscar and Graphite. And that is Love Always. Trying to get the glare off of there. So, and then the last thing, this is another, I'm blaming Brenda and Laura for this one because you know their rule, buy all the Blackbird, right? So, yep, I picked up Sewing Club. Not all of their books necessarily speak to me, but this one did because it's very samplery, and I love the samplers. So, yeah. And I can't, let's see, I can show you some of the designs in here, I think, without showing too much. Oops. There's one. There's a lot of little drums in here. In fact, speaking of drums, I'm thinking this would make a cute drum, don't you? Maybe. Yeah. Then we have In My Garden. Oh, that first one was called Rose Hips. This one is called In My Garden. And they show it as well if you want to stitch it as a regular sampler and not a drum. I know the angles I'm showing these are weird, but I'm trying not to show the charts of things. This is My Home. Oh, love that. It says it's a scissor box. Oh, and then here they have it. A better picture showing all the goodies inside the little box. It looks like that has Smyrna crosses on it. This is the Summer Basket button box, or button bag, rather. Super pretty. And there's not a really good way I can show you this one, but they do have it pictured with the scissor box that I just showed you. What was that one called? My Home. So those complement each other very well. Next we have Hollyhocks Were Always Their Huswife. And it also is shown going with the two other, the sewing scissor box and the button bag as kind of a set. Let's see if I can bring it in up and high. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there's no chart on that page anyway, durr. And here is a picture of what the inside of it looks like. Really pretty. Garden Friends sewing bag. The Right Pair scissor box. So another scissor box. And of course these scissor box ones would work great as pin keeps too. And you could just, you know, put pins on either side. Or even small pillows if you wanted to do a small pillows. Summer Flocks. This is a little pin cushion. So yeah, any of those other like scissor box designs would work fine for a pin cushion too. The Air of Other Summers pin cushion. This is one of their rectangular style pin cushions. Really pretty. Willing Hands is next. And that's shown actually on a box top. So it could be like a sewing box. A Bit of Summer, another drum. Songbird Whistles, another drum. Love the berry basket. I'm kind of regretting now I didn't buy that berry basket sampler from Beth Twist at Heartstring Samplery. And who did she do that with? Tanya from Scarlet House, I think, maybe? I really regret that I didn't do that. I didn't buy that. So that's definitely going on my wish list. Gathering Swallows. This is a companion piece to the Songbird Whistles drum I just showed you. So there is that one. You can see it's a little oval box. And I'll flip back a page and show you what they look like together. There they are together. Oops, I was showing chart. At least it wasn't much. Next up is Tiny Treetops Rose or Time. That is gorgeous. I love that. And that's not like a huge sampler either. Let's see what the stitch count is on that one. 208 by 83 stitched on 32 count doubloon. And it's all Weeks Dye Works and 1 DMC. Yep, that's really, really pretty. And then we have Garden Morning, another drum. I think that might be the last one. Yeah, that was the last one. And of course, as with all Blackbird books, it's got all the finishing instructions and all of the templates and everything you need to. And on the back it says, gather your friends. This book contains enough to keep everyone's needles working. 16 easy projects are offered to delight any stitcher and her friends too. And I'm going to say it could be his friends. You know, we have male stitchers. So it could just say to like their friends, which is all inclusive of all genders. And yep, but that is that last one sample I showed. So really, really pretty. Okay, well, I think that is it. Good Lord, that took an hour for haul. Oh. So I will be back next weekend, hopefully, assuming my anxiety levels stay fairly calm. And I will show you all the whips I've been working on in March, all my new starts and everything. And even though it'll be a couple of days before the end of March, it's going to kind of be my wrap-up post for March Stitch Madness. And even though I might start something new in that last day or two, then I will share that in my next video. But next video will kind of be a March Stitch Madness wrap-up. So I hope everyone is doing well. Please stay safe and healthy. Practice social distancing if you have to go out. Please, please, please. As someone who is immunocompromised, when you go out, even if you don't feel sick, you don't know that you might not have a mild case of this, and you could expose it to someone who is immunocompromised. And you might be fine, but they might not be. And I fall in that latter category. So, when you're out and about, take a minute, think of me, and practice that social distancing to keep everyone safe. 6 feet. All right. Thanks, guys. Love you. And I will chat with you next time. Bye-bye.